This is a test. This is only a test. If this had been an actual emergency, the attention signal you just heard would have been followed by official information, news, or instructions.
It's 6 a.m. and you are listening to the We Live Zombie Carnival. Joe, that was scary.
Yeah, I think we left people hanging a little bit last episode, but all is good.
Well, all is well that ends well. And our mystery, watery, I guess friend is what we'll call him now, was actually a postman.
The postman. We hadn't realized that he hadn't existed because he had stopped coming since the start of this whole thing.
I've received no mail since the beginning. And to be honest, I think that he was just here to give us a flyer anyway, because all the mail is really old.
Yeah, so he crawled out of the ocean, and he's here with us now. And apparently his name is Tim Lucas. He's been our postman for, I think it was 45 years, he said. This is the first time you and I have ever met him. And he also wanted to tell us he's running for state representative, which might be the reason why he decided to finally show up.
Tim, how you been?
Tim, what do you got for us?
I got your mail, and I'm running for state representative.
Yep.
So you're the mailman, and you're running for state representative.
And it's a zombie apocalypse, so that's happening too.
Right. Well, yeah, but this zombie thing's not going to last forever, you know. I mean,
Exactly.
we
Gotta
got to
plan for the
make
future.
plans otherwise. You know that there's a lot of dangerous intersections around here.
There
I mean, not on your island, but you
It's a lot
know.
of potholes. What are
Now
you
look
gonna
at
do
all
about
those
these
potholes. Oh, and those dogs that keep barking at 3 a.m. Who's
Yeah.
going to keep track of those things?
What's your plan for that?
Yeah, vote for me, and I promise to keep your property taxes where they should be. I can guarantee that I'm going to be less corrupt than that scumbag that was before me. That
Well,
I don't.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
want to. Yeah.
there's actually a runoff because he was killed by zombies, so it's an open seat.
Ah, that's good. Yes, I'm glad.
It was during a
but-
debate.
But I'm glad
he's
you're
the-
keeping up on politics.
I am. He's the salt of the earth, or at least he should be salted and put in the earth. That's what I'm saying. He's a zombie. How can we have another zombie? We've already got one in the state house. They're everywhere. But hey, your mail is
I
here.
was just gonna ask, where's the mail?
Yeah, you got your Publishers Clearinghouse. You might be a winner. Steve
Yeah.
Harvey doesn't have enough jobs, so he's doing the Publishers Clearinghouse giveaways now.
I want him to mix up the jobs and be like, show me a check.
Ah,
what is it?
That's
Show
right.
me computer electronics.
yeah, and Steve Harvey would get the name of the winner wrong. Oh, I had the wrong one circled on my form here. It's really this one. But thanks for playing, Miss Panama.
I'm trying to think of magazine names.
Right, yeah.
Car and Driver.
Esquire and Essence and Entertainment. So far, we've only got the E signed up, but we'll get more.
We were just talking about George. Do you remember George magazine by chance?
I remember the big push off for it, but it crashed and burned.
Oh.
As a politician yourself, what do you make of the JFK Jr. reanimation coming out of the water? Zombie
Well,
JFK Jr.
You know, last year I would have said that once you're dead, but I've seen so much in the past year that it couldn't be worse than what we're dealing with now.
So how did you get here? How did you get to the island?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean,
We just
I
saw
feel
you
like
pop
there's
out
not-
of the water.
Yeah, it was very scary.
Well, you know that extra tax money you've been paying for years. The post office has been using that they saw that Bond movie with the car that goes underwater,
Yeah.
the car that becomes a submarine. Well, you know, Roger Moore doesn't use that anymore.
No, he
So we got that. It's on a temporary loan. It's going to Toledo next week. So yeah, cases like yours where you haven't had mail for over a month.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
That's when we get on the list. That's when you get on the list, and finally, I mean, here it is. Here's all the past due notices that you've been missing.
Oh,
All the
wonderful. Those are for
parking
you, Gina.
tickets.
I know.
Wow,
See,
look at all
well,
these parking tickets. Oh well.
see now why the electricity went out that day. That was Rigor Mortis by Tommy Creep. Check him out on Instagram and Twitter at Tommy Creep. You can also check out more of his music on YouTube Music, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Pandora, and any of the other streaming services.
He is everywhere.
He is.
What a creep.
What a creep. He's at your window.
Gina, we've got a lot going on. We've got
We
Tim,
do.
the postman here. It's a little bit overwhelming, and I'm a little bit scared.
Well, hey, Joe, I know you're scared, and in times of fright, we always reach out to our good friend, the director of the CDC, Dr. Ricci.
Dr. Ricci on the phone. Dr. Ricci, you kind of left us off there hanging. I hear you've got some more information for us.
Tell us a bit more about Beto. I hear that he's actually getting himself like a voluntary test subject.
He's being injected with tiger blood.
Yeah.
Beto O'Rourke apparently is tired of losing. Tired of losing at life.
He's got to be the eye of the tiger here.
So you're working with animal DNA there, and you wanted to tell us about Beto.
Yes, as always. Thank you both for having me. And I would really like to take this opportunity to discuss some of the great breakthroughs we've had in the zombie serum. So, as you were discussing, we've had some high-profile special guests take interest in what we were doing and volunteered to be test subjects themselves.
Wait a second.
And-
I think we've got a caller.
Here we go again. Yabba dabba doo.
Lines are opened up. Caller, you're on.
Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Oh no.
Oh,
So,
God.
Hey, long time caller, first time listener. I just wanted to talk to Dr. Ricci about some stuff going on in my life.
Is that how that works?
I mean, you might as well. You're here again.
Yeah, I sure am there. I don't know quite how to phrase this. I just found out there's a second gender. Not everybody's a boy. And I
Oh,
Whoa.
you were behind the 8 ball, my friend. I'm sorry. What is it? I'm sorry. What's your question?
Yeah, I just how do I tell which one are the women and which one are the boys, and how do I get the women to talk to me?
So, Gina, great question. Great question. So, to our listeners out there, this gentleman, who we've never bothered to get his name, he thinks every time we have Dr. Ricci on the phone that is a love show. What do you think's going on, sir?
I mean, he's in here to give relationship advice. I mean, we're sitting here in this post-apocalypse, and I figure you need somebody with a medical background, because from what I understand, the mating it's a medical thing. It's a conjoining of the body. So I figured you need like an MD on that. Isn't that right?
I mean, women have vaginas.
So what is this vagina thing you tell me about?
Have you mated with a zombie?
Have
you gone all? What base have you gotten to?
I was never really good at the T-ball, so I think one time I got on first, but there was a boy there, because we
He was already there.
does that count as a threesome? I'm not positive.
There was a boy.
Dr. Ricci, help our friend.
Garth, don't put that in your mouth. Garth! Broadcasting 1,000,000 watts of zombie busting power. Brains 98.6 KZ. Zombie Z Head Radio, the mega station.
Well, something tells me that guy's got a lot to learn. And do you think Dr. Ricci can be the one who can teach him, the head of the CDC, who's actually working on a zombie cure?
I feel like it's a little out of his wheelhouse, but I guess if anybody could do it.
We've got Tim the mailman, who's also running for state representative here in the studio. And before we get to him, he's sitting in the green room. He is eating literally all of our snacks without regard. I guess he's been underwater for a while. But before we get to him, Gina, we've got a special guest on the phone. We've got lead singer of the Orange County, California punk rock band Subsurface Tension. We've got Jen Taylor Warren on the phone.
So, Jen, how's the zombie apocalypse been treating you guys over there?
It's been crazy, but we're adapting. So in our rehearsal studio, which is 2 miles from Disneyland, literally, we've got guys living in cardboard boxes nearby because our studio is half welding studio, half t-shirt shop. and us with our full gear setup where we rehearse. So we get guys camping out in little boxes nearby, and sometimes they do come up and bang on the door, so we have to lock it during rehearsal.
Oh, that's kind
Oh
of
my
scary.
gosh, that's a little, yeah. I'd be nervous. I mean, is it like a big door?
It's solid. It's thick.
That's
So you
good.
guys are safe. You're safe there.
Yeah.
Now, when I think of 2 miles from Disneyland and guys in cardboard boxes, the first thing that comes to my mind is Skid Row.
Yes.
Are you
Yep.
near Skid Row at all?
We're not, but Skid Row has really taken over SoCal, LA County, Orange County. We're seeing a lot of it because the politicians don't know how to deal with it. They keep promising they're going to fix it, but they never do. I think they take all the money and they spend it on hookers and blow.
So politics hasn't changed.
Which is why Skid Row just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Now, your heavy metal band, Subsurface Tension, you guys have been touring like through all of this.
Yeah, you're getting
How do
kind of
you-
a reputation for just
Yeah,
being
you're like-
fearless.
Yes, just completely fearless. How do you guys stay safe and like super carefree through this whole crazy?
Well, we have been known to bring baseball bats with us 2 gigs, and once we were even asked to break a television with it,
Nice.
because they thought it would play well on video and go viral. But what we found was old-fashioned TVs don't break.
Oh, not at all. No.
No,
You've got to shoot those TVs Elvis style if you want them to break.
exactly. And I typically don't carry a gun with me because that's frowned upon out here. It's not like Texas.
Even during the apocalypse, no guns.
So how did you get into music? Like what got you into heavy metal?
Good question. So kind of opposites. So my grandmother was a music director in a Southern Baptist church in
Wow, that is
Illinois.
opposite.
And she was a songwriter. She wrote songs about Abraham Lincoln,
Okay.
and she taught in public school music.
Okay.
And so it was always in the family. And my mother was like a music director at a Southern Baptist church. And I sang at a TV church called the Crystal Cathedral out
Why have
here
I
in
heard of that?
SoCal. It was a big TV church, but they've since gone bankrupt and they had to sell it.
Yeah.
And so, but what I found in rehearsing with the girls and the boys and the girls and the boys choir was that the boys started listening to heavy metal back in the early 80s. And I thought,
Wow.
ooh,
So when it was fantastic.
yeah, back
Yeah.
then. Now they're making TV shows about that time frame. But I got into it and I told my dad, I want to learn to play electric guitar like Joan Jett and Lita
Yep.
Ford from the Runaways.
Yep.
And then
Cool.
he said, well, I'll let you buy a guitar with your babysitting money, but not your mom, because we just won't tell her that it's the devil's music. It's the devil's music. So that's how it started. But
So did you secretly play it at first?
Oh yeah. I would go into my lesson and he'd try to teach me this classic rock stuff that I'd never heard of before. And I said, no, here's Judas Priest. Here's you teach me this. It was in a little Christian bookstore. Yeah.
I love that you asked them to play Judas Priest of all names. They're here to play this.
You left and they prayed for you.
You would teach me this. Now, this is what I want to learn. You know where it's crazier is in Anaheim, California.
Go on.
So there is a historic landmark club that is literally across the street from our studio, and it's called the world famous Doll Hut.
Okay.
And it's 2 miles from Disneyland. You can walk there, and it's tiny. It's like a living room with a bar in the middle with an outdoor smoking patio.
I love that.
A lot of the greats started there. Yeah, in
Wow.
rockabilly and punk. Huge names have played there, and even right now they're trying to keep that place alive. But yeah, it's divey, but I love it because they're one of the few clubs that kind of embraced me with open arms, because I used to sing for the Iron Maidens years ago, but I
Oh,
I
wow.
stepped down to be a mom and get my master's degree and just take care of stuff like that. And the Doll Hut really embraced me. I hadn't sung a note in 13 years, but my band, they said, yeah, come on in and play whenever you want. And I needed that to help me get my chops back and get my confidence back.
Was it like riding a bike? Was it like just as easy as when you left?
It was, except for the joints are a little tighter.
Now I've
I
got
love it.
Two questions.
Yes.
One, like, are you guys doing any dates soon? And then also the second one, how did you guys get the name? Like, how'd you come up with the name? I'm always interested in that.
Oh yeah. So yes, we do have some dates coming up for Subsurface Tension. We're in SoCal and we have ongoing dates in Southern California. And Subsurface Tension, that's a great story. We used to be Surface Tension, and Scott, our guitarist, came up with that concept. His day job is in mixing inks for printers and all kinds of liquidity things, you know.
Yeah.
And so he deals with surface tension for the liquid ink. And I told the guys when they came up with the name, I go, look, I know you love this name. I love it too, but there are 7 other surface tensions out there with music on Spotify. How are we going to differentiate ourselves in the marketplace? And they kind of looked at me with a blank stare because I'm the marketing geek. And I go, okay, well, we'll worry about it when we release music. Maybe we never will.
You're a realist too.
We play for fun in the neighborhood. So then we did record and release music. I said, okay, guys, there's another surface tension. They're young kids and they have a screamer, you know, kind of a vocalist, which we're not. We're more melodic. And said, hey, we got to pull the zipper. We got to pull the Band-Aid. We got to change our name. We got to do it now or it's going to cost more later. So I go, come up with something. I go, still use surface tension, but add something to the end, put up, I don't know. And I came up with 50 ideas. They didn't like them. And then Scott, he's the liquid paint guy. Yeah. He said subsurface tension. I'm like, that is freaking brilliant. I work with geologists in my day job, hydrogeologists, and it's all about subsurface utilities, right? Yeah. And so now whenever I hear the word subsurface utilities at work on a call, I think, yay, what?
Rock on!
Rock on! Yeah, so that's
like, you really like your job, Jen.
Yeah, I work in water, wastewater, and a lot of our infrastructure of our sanitation systems were built in the 60s. They're breaking down, and we have new technology to clean all the water now.
It's a long time.
And so they're upgrading them, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done with that. So I feel like I'm making a difference, you know, giving people clean water and cleaning up all the poopy water.
Especially in times like these.
With all those damn zombies.
Exactly.
It's important. A lot.
So we ordered some merch from your website, and we're not really sure how we
subsurfacetension.com.
Yep, subsurfacetension.com. That'll link people right to our Teespring page where we have all kinds of crazy stuff on there.
So we ordered the merch, but we're not quite sure how we got it. It was delivered somehow.
Like a drone. And I guess Amazon is still operable.
Oh yeah. So you didn't hear this from me, but Amazon, believe it or not, I shit you not.
This is a true story.
Yeah. Amazon has a zombie apocalypse clause in their terms and conditions that their lawyers have allowed to come out. I looked it up. Holy shiminy shnikes. There's tons of content on this. And I thought, well, either A, they know about something coming. They know there's going to be a biological warfare thing that allows people to die and come back to life and have body parts fall off and turn green, or they just put it in as a joke, or they haven't ruled anything out and they're very shrewd in their legal team. And they said, you know what? We're going to get bit in the butt, literally. If we don't put this in just in case there is ever a biological warfare virus that can make people look and act like zombies, and maybe they kill them and they come back to life, but their brain only works on half functionality.
Well, yeah.
So what we're saying is Bezos did this.
I think they knew, but
as George Carlin said, it's a big club and we ain't in it.
Ain't that the truth?
Jen, it sounds like there might be some commotion going on.
Yeah, are the guys at the door? Is it those guys?
Oh my God, I can't believe they found me. I was hiding underneath. They found me. Oh.
Are you
Jen?
Get the gun.
Oh, she does have a gun.
Oh no.
Jen. Dang it. I
got bit. I got bit.
Oh no. Okay. Are you... Is it a flesh wound? Oh no.
No, it's not good.
That's not good.
So let's play some of her music, huh?
Yeah. Let's listen to a bit of Subsurface Tension.
Jen, this is your song, Another Pint, and this is the song you died to.
creeping up from behind, you didn't hear a sound. Thinking that your world is draining, drowning misery. Make no mistake about it, that's your destiny. Time plays a game on you and it's the only way. Tramp down the well of sorrow, die another day. You feel your life fall, another pint soul. You feel your life fall, another pint
Wow, Tim is still in the green room with us.
Still
This is-
munching away. He's like a rat. We need to set
He-
out.
I know. I wonder if maybe he's got some of that rat blood in him. He is a politician.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we've been talking politics pretty much all day. So I was
Do you think Tim
thinking-
has a chance?
Yeah, I mean, is anybody else even running?
Well, is
When
that
is
empty
the
seat? I think
election?
the zombie state rep is refusing to give up his seat. So
Vacate the
we're gonna have one of those
Did-
California runoffs.
you have to come out and vote. You have to literally stand in line. No mail-in voting now.
Isn't that how Arnold
Which he would
won?
rig anyway, because he's the postman.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Oh, you want to talk about a conspiracy?
I know.
Oh no! if they thought there was a conspiracy before,
Just wait
the
till now.
Postman is running for office. Wow, we need to figure this out.
Well, I think our next guest is actually going to be able to help us out a lot with these burning questions. She's actually a political science expert. And she hosts a podcast, Political Psych with Abby. She's got a YouTube show. It's going to be a really great interview. So I think we're going to just talk about kind of the state of the nation and get her expert opinion. Abby, are you there?
Yeah, hi.
Hey, Abby, welcome to the show. Hopefully you've had a good day. We have a burning question, though. What exactly is political psychology?
Yeah, so it's basically applying psychology concepts and knowledge from psychology to politics. So things about biases and personality and emotion and group dynamics as applied to political things.
That's exactly what I told Gina. We had a little office pool going on. Word for
Office
word.
of two. How do you get into something like political psychology? What made you say that class? That's where I want to go.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was interested in people from a super young age, sort of, I think for two reasons. One is I was a huge history nerd growing up. That started off with being like a big mythology nerd. So I was really interested in
nice.
people and, how they act in different times and different situations and that kind of thing. And then I also have dyslexia and I was diagnosed quite young. And so I was always sort of aware that other people thought differently than I did. So that got me sort of interested in the psychology angle of things.
That makes
Although
sense.
political psychology is like one of the farthest branches of psychology from something that would directly deal with something like dyslexia on a regular basis.
Right.
And then when I went to college, so my undergrad degree is in psychology and modern history. And I got more involved in politics and stuff while I was in college. And I started off in college mostly wanting to apply psychology stuff to like history. But then I was like, okay, I want to work on some like more current events things, especially relating to like climate and that kind of stuff. So when I was done with my undergrad, I decided to go do a master's in political psychology. And I think that turned out to be a pretty good decision. And sort of right before and during my master's, I started my YouTube channel about political psychology as well.
Very cool.
And you're much smarter than both of us.
Put together, completely put together. So zombie politics. What is zombie politics? Because this has got me perplexed.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of dispute right now about, how much of politics zombies can even really have, right? Because it's a question of how much can they think, how much can they reason, how how much can they really interact with each other and communicate and that kind of thing, right? And of course, from the political psychology perspective, it's very difficult to study because you can't get them to sit down and do a bunch of surveys, right? Like, I mean, you got a couple of them being kept in government facilities or whatever, but
Sensitive subject right now.
yeah, but getting us in to study them has not been a priority. What I can offer more insight on is how the existence of zombies sort of changes a lot about our politics, right? Like before the zombie apocalypse, I was always like, you know, a huge focus of political psychology and social psychology overall is reducing prejudice towards groups, towards the out group, right? Which I would still argue for every out group other than probably zombies, right? It's not zombies' fault that they're zombies, right? But
they were a bit that way.
They're an outsider who it does make sense to fear, unlike most outsiders in society.
It is a strange dichotomy, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it really, really is. Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because, you know, it's all this stuff in political psychology of how fear of a dangerous world and believing the whole world is out to get you, you know, leads you to having really bad, really prejudiced politics, right?
Right.
And I mean, that's still true. And what's of course funny is the people who were most likely to think that the world was a super dangerous place and everyone was out to get them. I mean, it probably helped a little bit to have all those guns, but not much in the long term, right? Because you got to be near other people who are going to look out for you a bit, even in a zombie apocalypse, right? But you know, it still makes sense to you know, have some other people around and you know, to know somebody who can you know, help you out if you get hurt or that kind of thing, right?
So would you say zombies are bringing us all together in a weird kind of way?
I don't know. It's tough to say. I mean, I think that it's hard for any situation where people are so afraid to bring us all together, right? You know, and there's the suspicion of, you know, who's a zombie, who might become a zombie, right? So I think it brings some people closer together, you know, the people who you sort of have to trust. But it's hard to say if it's, you know, bringing us closer together as like a human species. I guess there now is an outsider, but I mean, there was
That's what they've always wanted.
Yeah, I mean, but there's an outsider before in terms of, you know, like nature or animals or whatever. But I mean, zombies are more of a threat than nature's been to most of humanity in a very, very, very long time.
An acute threat.
Exactly, right?
Now, I know you're more on the psychological side.
Yeah.
But say I'm a politician and I come to you
Yeah.
for advice. How would you recommend I win the zombie vote?
Oh, can zombies safely go to the polls? Or is there some sort of zombie mail-in voting? I guess. I think it probably depends on the constituency.
Voter fraud is now definitely a big
It's
problem.
rampant.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because there's all these people who are dead but not officially dead.
Dead and
They're off
voting.
of the rolls, but they're technically on the rolls.
Yeah, I mean, it's complicated. I would say for people who aren't totally gone, who have become zombies, I think, I mean, these are all very difficult things to deliver on, but what would probably be a good thing to promise is we won't hurt you, but we will keep you from hurting others. Because I would think that, you know, if people retain any shred of their humanity, they don't want to hurt their loved ones, right?
Absolutely.
And being zombies, they might not have, you know, much choice in that matter. Yeah, I mean, I would think that, you know, if you're willing to take that radical step of respecting their remaining humanity, you're probably going to be ahead of most candidates on that.
I like that. That is sound advice.
That is good. That was good advice. Now, if we're coming up with political problems for you to solve, what about the gerrymandering? Because I saw a zombie who clearly was all the way from California.
Just wandering.
Just wandering. And so, I mean, how do we know that he's voting in the right place? How do we know that?
That's not exactly gerrymandering.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, because gerrymandering is, you know, changing the shapes of districts and that kind of thing. I mean,
It's just one long, thin line from California to New York.
It's just one guy's path on like a air tag.
I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, theoretically, voting should just work over, you know, wherever people are living, right?
True.
I mean, I think that there are probably existing rules about how long you have to be living in a state to vote there. This isn't something I'm super knowledgeable about.
Not in Mississippi, there aren't.
Yeah. So you probably, I mean, but it's difficult, right? Because, it's probably going to be difficult for, a zombie to show a rent statement for how long they've been living there. I mean, I would suggest probably reaching out to organizations that have done like voter registration efforts among the homeless. Although, of course, you don't want to equate the homeless with zombies, right?
You are really good at this. I would just like to
I found it interesting earlier that you touched on the zombies being, kind of rounded up. I don't know if you've heard much about this, but I kind of want to get your
it's the
thoughts
hottest
on
news
this.
story right now.
It is a hot news. It's literally viral.
Yeah.
So the government has allegedly been like rounding up non-zombies, and they're using the Patriot Act and quarantining them in like repurposed mental health facilities.
Old tuberculosis sanitariums. Just call it what it is.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do what you got to do to keep people safe, right? So evacuation is not absurd. Of course, though, you got to make sure that people's human rights and individual liberties are still being respected.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's a little early to know exactly the nuances of what's going on here. I mean, personally, I just want to be wherever it's safe, right? But it's a question of, are these government facilities properly safe, right? And also, what are the conditions inside of them? How much, choice are people being given in going to them? Are people being evacuated from the most affected areas, or are certain communities being targeted unfairly to be evacuated or to not be evacuated? And these are just things I just don't know yet. And I mean, also you got to make sure that these facilities are more secure in terms of keeping zombies who may not be able to control themselves out rather than keeping people in. That is difficult, right? Because
build a wall.
I mean, especially if you're using something like tuberculosis sanitariums or old asylums, right? A lot of those are sort of designed for keeping people in.
So thinking about, this movement of these people to, of non-zombies to this place, how do you think that might affect political psychology in a post-zombie apocalyptic arena in general? The knowledge that these people are being separated, does that change that dynamic?
I mean, it definitely does. I mean, I think the way it does affect it will depend on exactly, how these facilities are operating, how voluntarily people are going, that kind of thing. But also on, I mean, I would certainly hope that the people who have gone there are still enfranchised. That will, of course, be relevant. And also, I would imagine many of them will now be in different districts for, different, electoral districts, be that, wards and cities or, congressional districts, all that kind of thing. So that would totally change the demographics of a lot of sort of areas for voting. You absolutely could gerrymander that way. Typically, it's easier to disenfranchise people from urban areas because they live in a more compact area, so you can sort of chop that up more easily. But I'm sure that it would be possible to gerrymander by doing this, and also to, systematically disenfranchise people. I would definitely have concerns about people being used as forced labor as well.
Oh, that's a good one. I haven't thought about that.
I mean, because that happens in prisons. There's, existing exploitation of people with disabilities who can be paid below minimum wage. Like, if you are in a situation where you're not being treated like a full legal adult with all of their human rights by the government, that does make you ripe for exploitation. So that is a real concern.
What about those of us who think that zombies are taking our jobs? What about us?
I mean, it's a question of, I think the way it would affect politics is dependent on what jobs zombies are necessarily taking, right?
Food service, I'm guessing.
I mean, what was I going to say?
I don't know.
I mean, if it is lower paid jobs, then you could be quite popular with certain as a politician if you propose certain welfare programs, like the checks people got during the pandemic,
Love
Right.
those.
Right.
You know, that sort of thing probably, at least in the short term, would help win some votes. Probably it's also a good way to keep people safe, right? You don't want to force people into doing their jobs in a situation where they're not going to be safe, and also where they're going to become additional vectors for contagion. Yeah, I mean, it's really tough to say. I do think that there'll probably be some, I mean, unless unless, you know, people are being evacuated totally voluntarily to well-run facilities and that sort of thing, I think that there probably will be a backlash against the current government, although governments do sometimes hold on to power longer in a crisis. You know, I mean, I think that there's
That's a very good point.
yeah, I mean, there's some indications, right, that wartime presidents don't typically lose re-election, that kind of thing. And it's not a war, right? But there are some analogies to be drawn there. Right. Yeah. I do have concerns, though, about the nature of the crisis, and also, you know, zombieism being a possible justification people use for disenfranchisement, for that, you know, leading to elections not happening the way they're supposed to. Yeah, and the breakdown of democracy. Like, so that is a real concern in a crisis like this.
Hey, Abby, it sounds like someone's at your door.
Canvassing.
Go
Oh,
ahead
yeah, okay.
and by all means
Canvassing.
take care, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah,
to
no,
intrude
Canvassing.
on you.
I should go check on
Canvassing.
Makes
Yeah.
total sense.
Canvassing.
Abby, this is the song you die to.
Play with the torture. The voice in my head, I dread dead. Say it, ignore ya. The cost to be, the boss to be. Maybe your fortune. Cookie crumble, humble pie, taking a portion. Whispers heard, I bet disturbed, maybe distortion. What with the words, trouble is heard, living consorting. What consultants halted by an aim with a forcing. A way to try to make it work before they take it all and fix it. Claim it out, they break it first.
Don't call me when we're after hours. Don't ask me to feed your cat. I'm trying to keep things professional. I don't know you like that.
Cool on my temper. I can't lose it all the bomb. I gotta remember the gun I wanna check me down. Never your timber. Fall becomes the spring and the summer, not my winter. Begin the games again. I guess I'll be the ender. Kicking down the door, saying do not enter. Push it back to letter saying return to sender. Injured like a fender bender, but pretenders always wanna say they wanna be contenders.
Don't call me when we're after hours. Don't ask me to feed your cat. I'm trying to keep things professional. I don't know you like that, like that. The cat has learned to bite. What a fright. Isn't docile anymore. Doesn't know what's play for his fight. The cat has learned to bite. What a fright. Isn't docile anymore. Doesn't know what's play for his fight. Don't call me when we're after hours. Don't ask me to feed your cat. I'm trying to keep things professional. I don't know you like that. Don't call me when we're after hours. Don't ask me to feed your cat. I'm trying to keep things professional. I don't know you like that, like that.
That was the Heavy After Hours by Strangers That Clique.
Tim, welcome back into the studio.
So, Tim, tell me a little bit more about your platform. I know you do the whole spiel of potholes and all that, but
yes.
So how are the snacks in the green room?
Oh, pretty good. I like those little red things that you had there were hidden, but they tasted good.
Red things.
Well,
What?
yeah, they kind of looked like Twizzlers, but they had a fishy taste to them.
Oh God.
Oh no, you didn't eat the shrimp ring from Frank's Shrimp Shack, did you?
The shrimp that's 8 months old.
Yeah, yes, it had a Frank's package on it. What did you say?
Oh, Tim.
Uh,
Tim.
Oh,
Oh God, are you okay?
Tim, are you okay?
Oh
Oh my
Oh
God.
my God, Tim. You're a zombie now?
I feel great. Wow, that was good. Too bad I ate all those shrimp. That was good. I feel like a new man.
Tim, I think you might be a zombie now. Speaking of that,
Brains.
Oh, yeah.
I could go for brains.
Yeah, you are. Oh God. So this gives us a unique opportunity. Tim.
Will you still be running for office now that you've been reanimated?
Yes, now that I've seen both sides, I can appeal to everyone. I understand.
Oh geez. Well, Tim, I hate to do this to you, buddy, but you better get going back to your car boat and finish stumping and delivering everyone their mail. Great to meet you. Wait, what's that beeping sound? Tim, wait, don't start the car. Tim, we're going to send you off to Do Not Speak to Me of Love by Good Looking Corpse.
Gina, I hate to interrupt, but I've got myself an urgent voicemail.
Hey, Joe. This is Mercury Jones from the mainland. I don't think we've had the luxury of meeting yet, but you see, I run the late night all last requests and dedications program there on KZFM. Well, look, anyway, I'm locked in my apartment right now, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it in or not. I got a hold of our kid. He's on his way. He's going to try to get me out of here. You see, there's a zombie loose in our building, Joe. So the super doesn't No, sorry about that, Joe. So the super doesn't really want us leaving our apartments. You know how it is on the mainland. So, yeah, so I just wanted to let you know, if you could let Regina and anyone else know. I tried to get a hold of Neil, but, you know, he didn't answer. But anyway, yeah. Okay, Joe. Yeah, well, anyway, I just wanted to be professional about it. Anyway, so good luck with everything. Hopefully, you know, this all gets straightened out. Yeah. Thanks, Joe. Thanks a lot. Look forward to seeing you.
Do not speak to me of love. Can the devil speak of virtue? Would you speak about your pain to the thorny rose that hurt you? Do not speak to me of love. If you heard about the sky from a fish deep in the sea, every word would be a lie. Oh, beautiful liar, glittering shell sculpted in hell's cruel fire. Beautiful blight. Do not speak of the rainbow, you creature of an ending night.
Okay, Gina. So I'm a little worried. Mercury Jones did not answer his phone. I did get a hold of our kids, and he said that he was there to pick him up for his scheduled time to bring him over here to the island, and he did not show up. He was not outside of his boarded up apartment building. So I'm
So
a
who's going to
little
host
worried.
Yeah, I mean that's not like Mercury because that's basically Mercury's life. I mean, I don't know what most of the time he's here anyway.
I think we're gonna have to get a hold of station manager Neil to sort this out. This is way
Yeah.
out of our.
It is. Who's going to host the show?
Broadcasting 1,000,000 watts of zombie busting power. Brains 98.6 KZ. Zombie Z Head Radio. The mega station.